In the dead of winter, a woman finds herself alone on a desolate highway, her car refusing to move an inch. Imagine the scene. The only sound is the howling wind, her breath fogging up the inside of the car. A blanket of fresh snow coats the road, untouched except for the tracks her car made before it sputtered to a halt. She tries the ignition again, her fingers numb from the cold. The engine whines, coughs, but ultimately remains silent. A sense of dread begins to creep in, wrapping its icy fingers around her heart. She's alone, miles from the nearest town. Her phone is a useless piece of plastic in this place, no signal bars to be seen. She tries to keep her mind clear, to think of a solution. But as the minutes tick by, her thoughts get muddled with fear. The cold is seeping in, making her shiver, making her teeth chatter. She wraps herself tighter in her coat, but it does little to ward off the chill. Suddenly there's a knock on the window. She jumps, her heart pounding in her chest. She peers into the darkness outside, but sees nothing. Maybe it was just the wind, she tells herself, but then it comes again. Knock, knock, knock. A rhythmic, deliberate sound. She swallows hard, her throat dry, her mind races with horrific possibilities. Is it a person, an animal, or something far more sinister lurking in the shadows? She's too scared to look, too scared to move. She clutches the steering wheel, her knuckles white. Her breath comes in short, panicked gasps. The knocking continues, growing louder, more insistent. Then, as suddenly as it started, it stops. The silence is deafening. She waits, her heart pounding in her ears. She squints into the darkness, trying to make out any shapes, any movement. There's something out there, a figure in the darkness watching her. But who was the figure in the darkness? We'll get back to that. Our second story takes us to a deserted highway where a group of friends' road trip turns into a nightmare. A group of 5 friends, eager for an adventure, had set off on a road trip across the country. They were filled with the joy of youth, their hearts pounding with the thrill of the open road, and their minds filled with dreams of the sights they would see. But as the sun began to set, their car, which had been running smoothly all day, suddenly sputtered and died. The friends found themselves stranded on a desolate stretch of highway miles from the nearest town. As they fiddled with the engine, hoping to coax it back to life, a shroud of darkness descended upon them. The once comforting hum of nature turned into an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Suddenly they heard a sound, a soft thud, like something heavy being dropped, followed by a rustling that seemed to be coming closer. They froze, their hearts pounding in their chests, their eyes straining to see in the darkness. Our final story brings us to an ancient, forgotten road where a man's car breakdown leads to an encounter with the supernatural. This is a tale not for the faint of heart, a tale that takes place on an old out-of-use highway that time itself seemed to have abandoned. It's a route that few travelers dare to navigate, shrouded in mystery and whispered tales of the supernatural. Imagine, if you will, a man journeying alone. He's driving along this desolate road, the hum of his car engine the only sound in the stillness of the night. Without warning, his reliable vehicle sputters and dies, leaving him stranded amidst the eerie silence. His attempts to restart the car prove futile, amplifying his sense of vulnerability. As he grapples with the reality of his situation, a figure materializes in the darkness. It's not a fellow traveler nor a helpful passerby, it's a ghostly apparition, pale and ethereal, its eyes burning with an icy fire. The man's heart pounds in his chest, his breaths coming in short, panicked gasps. He's frozen, trapped in his car, his only sanctuary against the spectral entity looming outside. In desperation, he tries the ignition one last time. To his great relief, the engine sputters to life, but his relief is short-lived. As he steps on the accelerator, the spectral figure moves closer, its chilling gaze fixed on him. It reaches out a translucent hand, and with a voice as cold as the grave, it delivers a message that sends chills down his spine. What did the ghost want from him? Let's delve deeper. Let's return to our first story, where a woman is trapped in her car, with an unknown figure outside. Our story resumes on a desolate road, bathed in the eerie glow of a solitary streetlight. The woman, now a prisoner in her own vehicle, watches with mounting fear as the shadowy figure outside continues its relentless assault on her car. The metallic thud of each strike booms through the night, punctuating the woman's terror with a chilling rhythm. As her heart pounds in her chest, she frantically dials for help. The wait for the police to arrive is agonizing, each second stretching out into an eternity. The figure outside is relentless, undeterred by the woman's desperate pleas for mercy. The tension builds, a crescendo of fear and anticipation, until at last the distant wail of a siren pierces the night. The figure freezes, its assault momentarily halted as the flashing lights of a police car paint the road in red and blue. The arrival of the law enforcement officers brings a wave of relief, yet the fear remains, lingering in the woman's wide, terrified eyes. As the police apprehend the figure, the truth begins to unravel. The figure, now revealed under the harsh glare of the police car's headlights, is a wanted criminal, a man whose face had been splashed across the news, his crimes a terrifying echo of the woman's ordeal. The relief is palpable, yet tainted by the chilling realization of the unseen threat she had faced. She had been alone, defenseless, her only protection the thin metal shell of her car against a man with nothing to lose. A narrow escape indeed, but our other stories are yet to conclude. Back to the highway, where our group of friends are searching for their missing companion. The night air is thick with tension. The only sounds are the crunching of gravel underfoot and the erratic rhythm of their own breathing. Suddenly, the sinister laughter echoes again, chilling their blood and freezing them in place. The laughter seems to come from all directions, surrounding them, bouncing off the silent, shadowy trees. Then, out of the darkness, a figure emerges. It's their friend, his face pale, eyes wide with terror. He's mumbling something over and over. It's the same phrase from the radio, the one that sent chills down their spines earlier. "Beware the curve," he keeps repeating. The friends are consumed by a dreadful realization. The curve, the dangerous curve on the highway that had claimed countless lives in the past. It was the curve they were supposed to take next. The laughter, they realized, was not a trick. It was a warning. Meanwhile, back on the forgotten road, our lone man finally deciphers the ghost's message, a series of numbers scrawled on the foggy window of his car. The numbers form a date from the past. With a shiver, he realizes it's the date of his own near-fatal accident on this very road years ago. The ghost was not there to harm him, but to remind him, to warn him. Perhaps it was a fellow traveler, someone who didn't get a second chance like he did. The man drives away, the car engines roar, the only sound breaking the heavy silence. He leaves behind the forgotten road, carrying with him a renewed appreciation for life and a chilling lesson about the past. 3 cars, 3 breakdowns, and 3 encounters with the unknown. Remember, the next time your car breaks down, you might not be as alone as you think.